Inside the tower, joined by two-time U.S. Open champion Curtis Strange. And they say golf, Curtis, is a game of adjustments, especially at this level. We've seen this golf course give some of the best players in the world fits today, and I guess we'll find out tomorrow who makes the better adjustments going into round two.
Well, as we saw it in my group, for instance, they didn't make the adjustment. And I think we talked about it on the golf course. When you play the game, the only swing I really have to know is my own. So I know what is good and what is bad, and when it goes bad, I have to make the adjustments. They didn't seem, it surprised me today that they didn't do that today. But golf is all about adjustments every day. Every time you get up every morning, the feel is different than the day before. And you have to have the little Band-Aid, but you have to know your swing to be able to do that.
And just to be a little more specific, you followed three of the best players in the world when you're talking about Justin Rose, talking about Rory McIlroy and Jason Day. And Rose hung in there. He ends up shooting even par. I'm sure walks away frustrated with a three-putt at 18, but the other two guys really had a tough time driving the ball straight, finding these big fairways.
Well, you know, you go back to talking about the swing, and everybody's so technical now, and they swing by number so often. But I never hear rhythm and tempo anymore, and that's what they lost today, the rhythm and tempo. When you have a big swing in a lot of fast-moving parts, you still have to match up right at the ball, and they didn't do that today. And I was really shocked at how many times they hit it in the big hay. And if you do that, you're history.
It's kind of like a generational shift almost. It's more like the artist versus the engineer, and these guys are trying to play like engineers, and it's not that easy. I mean, you survive with a philosophy when your skills aren't good. And these guys, they just kept bombing away, hoping they could hit good tee shots. And but I'm really surprised that the scores were this low. It's like I said, it's the longest course in U.S. Open history today. And the wind blew. It wasn't perfectly calm out there.
I'm not surprised the score's this low because the wind blew some, but it didn't blow that much to affect really the play. And then it laid down in the afternoon.
Well, I think we all know when we see U.S. Open golf, we're used to hard and fast conditions. And the weather earlier in this week was, you know, it was wet. It really softened up the golf course, which really enlarges the fairways, doesn't it? You know, makes the ball, when it lands on some of these side slopes, stay in some of the fairways. The greens were receptive to all shots, even late in the day. The forecast is good tomorrow. There's no rain in the forecast. Maybe it gets a little bit firmer. Maybe it runs a little harder. It's going to blow 10 to 15 miles out of the south. It's a familiar golf course.
Hey, I'm with you, Bradley. And, hey, look, man, it's a U.S. Open. It doesn't matter if it's 15 under, 17 under. Rory McIlroy's got his name on the trophy. And now we're seeing Jason Day, who shot 79 today, still out on the driving range trying to put it all together.
And he was a professional in the way he acted today, and this is also the way of being a professional. Even when you play well, it's not about today, yesterday, or tomorrow. It's about the long career. You go and continue to work at the game.